Okay guys, so the first step, we're going to take this slight horizontal section, and the goal for this haircut is going to be to keep it as natural as possible while enhancing as much texture as well. So we're going to use a feather for this entire haircut. Okay, roundness of the head, I'm going to start from here, and we're just going to feather this in and slightly elevate as we get towards the ear. Okay, this is what's going to allow for that wispiness at the very end. Section 1, section 2 above the ear, okay, with over direction, boom. Okay, watch this. We see our guide. That's section 2. Now we go back into our elevation and make sure that this is nice and tight. Okay, we're gonna have a lot of texture. It's gonna look really nice throughout this entire haircut. Okay, this is where we start incorporating the bottom. Okay, we bring everything down. So let's do that again. Look at how this is all gonna sit, guys. Okay, bring everything down. Look at that. Bring everything forward. How does that look? Okay, beautiful. All that we're gonna keep. We're just going to over direct this piece in here, and you're gonna see how I do this. Okay, come back now on that flat surface, and we're gonna have a disconnection right below the ear, okay? All this we're going to keep because we're gonna make a decision on how we want this to sit at the very end. Okay, we follow that all the way through, and we might work with some over direction from the bottom now. Okay, coming back from the top, back to previous. Okay, make sure we could see our guide before we make our incision. Beautiful. Okay. This is where now head position comes in. Look at my body position, and we're elevating. We're elevating. Okay, we could completely disconnect this and make sure that as we get towards the back of the head, we're following that round cutting line all the way throughout. Beautiful. Okay, we shall proceed. Same process. Diagonal section all the way through, and then we come back from the top back into our previous. There we go. Making sure we're completely cutting this round as we get towards the bottom. Beautiful. Okay, we shall proceed. Same process. Beautiful. Okay, we're seeing that beautiful texture, that beautiful movement leading all the way towards the back. We follow that process all the way through. Beautiful. Now we move on towards the other side. Again, same process, nothing really changes, but what you need to understand, guys, is the reason why we're using the feather is because we're just trying to enhance as much texture as possible. And this is just gonna have a soft finish while still building that beautiful graduation throughout the top. Already you could just see all that enhanced texture, and this is just gonna look really nice and slightly different from what you guys are used to. All I wanna see is as much texture and as much movement as possible while still building a bit of that weight. Okay, so we shall proceed. Section 2, section 1, same process. Okay, come in now internally and boom. let me show you the difference from having lower strides versus having longer strides. So if you have a lower stride, what's gonna happen is you're gonna strengthen the line. But imagine if you had longer strides, what ends up actually happening is you end up having way more of a textured line, a softer line. So that's very dependent on the texture of hair and what the end result's gonna be. So in this case, given the fact that the hair is actually quite fine, well, what we wanna end up with is actually lower strides to strengthen the nape as much as possible. All right, so for you guys to be aware of, what did I just do? I went round horizontally, but internally we also went with something slightly round into something that's longer. And the reason why is because when we blow dry this up, I actually really want to see a lot of that textured pieces through the back. Okay, you're not going to really see it now, but you're going to see a lot more movement and texture as we get towards the crown area. Okay, so that only is going to be visible at the very end. So right now, the last thing that's really left is refining some of the lengths through the front. And you're gonna see how I'm gonna do this. So again, straight from the profile, and this is gonna be a brush back. So bringing everything back, and from the length of the crown, lift this up, and we're gonna just texturize that, leading all the way to the front. Okay, follow that process, leading up to the side here. So same process again. All right guys, so this is my final look on Bennett, and as you guys notice, beautiful movement, all done through one tool, a feather. We barely used any scissors in the front, and you just have such a beautiful textured haircut that moves really nicely with just complete texture throughout. I just wanted to show you guys that the technique remains the same, and the detail is what we changed using a different tool, and the results are very similar, but the finish is slightly different. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.